Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull has denied the coalition has a problem with taking advice from the public service. The fallout from the resignation of the Solicitor General Justin Gleeson continues today, with Labor calling for the ministerial scalp of the Attorney General George Brandis. Political reporter Matthew Doran joins us live from Parliament House. Matthew, good afternoon. Mr Gleeson resigned late yesterday, but Labor says he was the wrong person to lose his job.
That's right, Cormy. Good afternoon to you. Labor says that it was the Senator George Brandis who should be leaving his office in the wake of this very bitter and very public spat between the officers of the first and second law officers of the nation. Of course, it all came to a head yesterday, as you mentioned, with Justin Gleeson resigning from his post, citing his relationship with George Brandis as having been irretrievably broken after Senator Brandis was accused of trying to curtail the ability of Justin Gleeson to provide frank and fearless advice to members of the public service and to the government by forcing all requests for Mr Gleeson's expert advice come through his office for approval first. Now, that of course is a claim that Senator Brandis has rejected and that all played out in front of a Senate committee some week and a half ago. But in the wake of this resignation from Justin Gleeson, fingers are being pointed left, right and centre. Certain government ministers are saying that Labor should be taking some of the blame for this situation in their dogged pursuit of George Brandis and his position as the Attorney General. The Foreign Minister, Julie Bishop, says that Justin Gleeson has become somewhat a collateral of that Labor dragged him into this whole fight. But the opposition leader, Bill Shorten, says that the buck well and truly stops with George Brandis.
We've seen the Solicitor General, the second law officer of the nation, tormented and bullied out of his position by bully Brandis. We've seen an honourable man lose his job for telling the truth, and we've seen a dishonourable Attorney General keep his job for telling lies. This is the sign of the chaos in the Turnbull government.
And Matt, how has the Prime Minister responded today?
Well, he's definitely brushed off any suggestion that Senator George Brandis should lose his job as a result of this. In fact, if we cast our minds back to that day where both men faced off at a Senate committee, Mr Turnbull at that stage said that he thought the two of them could continue to have a professional relationship. Now, that's of course been blown out of the water by this resignation, and despite these calls from Labor for Senator Brandis to either stand down or be pushed out, the Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull says that he well and truly still has his support in that role. Malcolm Turnbull says that his government always listens to the advice of the public service, and when it comes to appointing a replacement for Justin Gleeson, he's not concerned about people being scared off from applying for that role given this very bitter brawl.
The office of Solicitor General is one that is always it's one of the great offices of the law, and you know, you'll always find many distinguished lawyers who would be honoured to accept an appointment as Solicitor General. We value immensely the very frank advice we get from the Australian Public Service.
The Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull speaking earlier today in Brisbane, and we know that from now what we will see is this initial legal direction which caused this dispute, this legal direction issued by Senator Brandis to try and install that gatekeeper function in his office for the Solicitor General's legal advice, is likely to become the subject of a disallowance motion in the Senate. We know that Labor will definitely be voting to disallow this motion. The Nick Xenophon team has announced that they too will be blocking this motion ever being enacted in the future, so that we can expect to see more of that debate in the coming weeks when Parliament returns.
Matthew Doran, thanks so much.